Hello, everybody. This is Grace here at The Comfy Nest with Grace, and I am broadcasting on the Essential Stencil page to bring a really cool project tonight using the premium pine wood houses and the Essential Stencil set called Be Still. So I'm going to use this set right here. So before we get started, I want to grab the feed and make sure that it's working, make sure that you can all see and hear me well. There's been a little glitchiness going on in the world of Facebook, so I am really hoping that this is going to go easy and without a hit. Let's see. Will Facebook find me? Let's just see. I'm hoping I can find this feed so that I can see all your comments as I'm creating. I don't usually go live just on the table like this, but this is a pretty involved project tonight, actually. Lots of little steps and quite a few little pieces of equipment. As you can see, I've got equipment in the corner here. I got my little dodo-dum, my little iron. We're going to be doing some decoupage with the iron-on method. I'm going to do that in a few minutes, and I'm going to be doing it on the house, the little house. Does anybody have these? They're really fabulous, you guys. It's a house with the roof. So you get the little pieces of wood for the roof and the house, which is 6 by 10. So it's fairly large. It's nice and thick and chunky. So it stands up on its own. I wanted to show you the packaging because I think it's important for you to see, you know, exactly what it is that you're getting and how it comes to you. It's beautifully packaged. The wood is gorgeous. The cellophane makes noise, so I'm trying really hard not to handle it too much. So I apologize for any crinkling noise. You come on in and say hello. Let me know that you're here. Hey, Jude. Okay, now I got these comments. Great. There's Sharon Shed. Hello. There's Whimsically Nodded. Hi. But there's so much glitchiness in the world of Facebook that I think maybe I should put my Wi-Fi on just to make sure, even though I'm on cellular, I have this little backup here. Hey, Jennifer in Michigan. Anne says, I can't wait to see what you're creating with this house. Yeah, we're going to be decoupaging with Mod Podge. So this is the key ingredient when you want to use the iron-on method and decoupage, okay? Whatever, papers, napkins, rice papers, decoupage papers, whatever you want. Diana says, I just painted one of these. Oh my gosh. Donna said, I had no idea. I must get these. Isn't it awesome? It's really chunky and big. And I have something really, really special planned for it tonight. Hi, Renee. She says, hi, Grace and friends. Hi, Candy Marshall. I have not seen you in quite a while, friend. Hope all is going well for you. There's Debbie Gervoy and Sandra. Look at all these text BFFs coming. Yay. I'm so glad you're here. Please let me know if you're here. Say hello. Let me know that you're here. Okay, from this set, I'll show you all of them, but I'm only going to use one. You get Be the Light, which this is probably my favorite. I love that. I just love that concept and that phrase. In this set, you get Be Still and Know. The fonts are beautiful. And then the one that I'm going to use tonight is Grace Upon Grace. Okay, so I'm going to use that tonight on the house, but we're first going to decoupage something very special. So the house, I'm going to move this one over because I don't need this. I'm going to actually move all of this over because I don't need any of this right now. I'll refer to it again later toward the end to remind you what it is that we're using. It might help if I grabbed this little black insert so that you could see this in screen like that. Why does this camera keep wanting to bounce backwards on you? Why? Why, oh why? I don't know. So I wanted a nice base. I'm going to slide something into view that's going to be rather ugly, but it is what it is. So I have this little roly thing that I paint on, as you can see. I've already painted the house. I've also already painted the roof. So the roof parts come like this, and you glue them together on top of the house, and it makes a nice, perfectly pitched roof. These I don't need right now. I won't need them for a while. I'm going to focus on the house. So I painted them. Somebody will ask. I have this on hand, country chic paint. I don't know. This is the only jar of this that I have. I actually think a long time ago, I bought like a mystery box from somebody, a creative who has her own business, and she was selling mystery boxes of supplies, and this came in my box. So I don't know anything really about it. I don't even remember who I bought it from, to be truthful with you. It's a clay-based, superior adhesion, easy to distress paint. I will say to you, I have not used it a lot, but I have been using it more lately, and it has gorgeous coverage. So if you know this paint line and you love this paint line, tell us, because this is my real first experience with it, using it extensively, and it's beautiful. I like smaller jars. I just happened to get this one in a mystery pack. I don't know if this comes in smaller jars. I know nothing about it. This is 16 ounces. That's a lot. That'd be a lot of paint. Hi, Dana. I'm doing okay. Thank you for asking. How are you, my friend? Okay, let's see. You love that saying, Donna? I do too. Hey, Joyce, Jamie. Hello, Missy Heath. Hey, Peggy. Oh, somebody said it's the first time watching me. Well, thank you for being here. I so appreciate you joining us here on Essential Stencil. I am one of the ambassadors, and I go live on Thursdays is my day that you might find me here live, or you can always come over to the Comfy Nest with Grace and find me there. Okay, so what I had to do to prep this board was paint it, which I did. I started this a couple of hours ago because I wanted to give the paint time to dry. I knew I might need to do 2 coats. So again, time to dry. And then I wanted to get the Mod Podge on before I came online. Hey, Sharon, thank you for giving me a special welcome and hello. Thank you, thank you. You're so sweet. Thanks for calling me by name. Hi, Julie. Text BFF. There's Pam. Hi, ES family and friends. Hey, Maggie. I love saying hello to everybody. Leslie Ann says, I have that set. My mother's name is Grace. I always think of both of you when I see it. Oh my goodness, Leslie Ann. That's very special. Hey, that's really special. Okay, so the matte Mod Podge, when you do the iron-on method, I'm going to turn my iron on now because we're going to get right into it. And a little iron I got off of Amazon. It's equivalent to the Cricut brand. It's just no-name brand. Well, it's not no-name. It's Do-Do-Dum brand. It's not a national brand. And it works. To me, it works just as well, but it has a little silicone base. It's just a little iron. You could use your regular clothing iron, okay? Just turned it on. I'm going to put it in its base and let it heat up. To do the iron-on method with paper, you need to get the Mod Podge on and let it dry completely. I would ideally like to design both sides of this if we have time tonight. Like I said, it's a kind of an involved project, but we're going to get to it. I would like to do both sides, but I don't know if we're going to get to both sides. So we'll at least get one side done. Hi in Chicago, Miss Deborah. Hello, I see you. Hey, Janet. So has anybody, Deb Joe is watching from Rainy, Florida. Hello. Cindy's first time here. Welcome, welcome to Essential Stencil. My name is Grace, and my business is the Comfy Nest with Grace. Hey, Janine and Donna and Sharon. Look at you all. Love it. Okay, I can remove this because we're done painting. Okay, so we can put this here. I actually might grab a different mat to put down so that my little house is on a different mat. You can see it better maybe. Okay, so it's already Mod Podged on both sides. You can see a slight sheen. This is Mod Podge matte, which really, I think it's like Mod Podge satin, I would call it, but it's considered their matte version. But I put in a really thick coat on both sides earlier. I wanted to give it time to dry because the Mod Podge needs to be dry to use the iron-on method. Okay, that's what you need. So, got the little iron here. Whoop, there it is in shot. And here are the papers I'm going to use. This may get a reaction, but I couldn't help it tonight when I decided... Oh, there's my little Do-Do-Dum saying, I'm ready to go. Whoop, whoop, we're ready to create. We're ready to create. Grace, Carolyn says, Grace is the first ambassador I saw use Mod Podge. I love it. Yay. It's fun to introduce new things to you guys. I really try hard. I would consider myself a mixed media artist, like a paper crafter, art journaler, junk journaler. Those are the kinds of things that I really love. I come from the world of crafting. I have always been crafty. I have had my craft business for a very long time, but now I do more on paper than I do on wood and metal and other surfaces. So I consider myself more of a moving toward that, but I kind of do it all. So I'm happy happy to introduce you to more things. Hey, Jeannie, watching in Nevada. Oh, Jeannie's got a business page. Clifton's Crafty Casa. Congratulations, my friend. Hi, Nancy in Missouri. Oh, Connie says it's the first time I've seen anything iron on. So she's very excited. Okay, Mod Podge is dry. Paint is on. Here's what we're going to put on here. You guys, I have to. I printed out a few photos. Okay, I've been working on this for hours, you guys. I have been prepping for hours because when I learned about her passing this afternoon, I don't know, it affects me. It affects me like it probably does a lot of people. So to the people of England, to the royal family, condolences, obviously. Lots of hearts and love going out to this family and to the country, to our friends in Canada. Just heartfelt feelings about this. I printed out a few photos, you guys. She has been prominent her whole life. She has been magnificent her whole life, but there are so many unbelievable photos of her that I started printing, you guys, and I was like, I can't stop. Like, this is what I posted on my page to commemorate and to give respect to. I love this collage that somebody put together of her, and that was the original one that I was going to do. But then I found this one, and she's so regal and gorgeous here. So I think I'm going to go with, and I found this one, which I absolutely love, a really modern take on her. But when I was jostling around with all these photos, I decided to go with this one. And I'm thinking, I want to put Grace Upon Grace on here because she was so graceful, so magnificent. And of course, at this time in their family's life, we would bestow grace upon grace on their family. Right? I mean, it just fits so perfectly. I'm going to get a little emotional doing this tonight. So I would like to put this on one side, and this has got to be, it's like the house that she built, right? Like, she's going to be on a house. This is what I really want to do, is get her on here. And this is a full sheet, and I've got to figure out what part of this sheet I want. And then I want to put Grace Upon Grace here in the corner, like right here next to her. And I think I'm going to emboss this with some gold because, of course, she's the queen. She was the queen. You've never seen iron on either, Kathy? Well, I'm happy to introduce you. I know, you guys. I had a feeling that this was going to bring some reactions. It's going to be fabulous. I hope so, Debbie. It is such a sad day, Michelle. Kimberly says, you're going to make me cry. I have goosebumps. You are so special. I am ready to cry, Kimberly. We can cry together. And it's so amazing because she's the Queen of England, was the Queen of England. That's going to be hard to get used to saying. And I said to my son tonight, because we were talking about it, he said, well, who's the Queen then? And I said, well, it's a king now. And I said, King Charles III. And I said, my whole life, I've never known there to be a king. Although I watch a lot of movies. I love historical documentaries, historical fiction. And I watch a lot of movies about royalty. And of course, kings and queens throughout history of time. But I have never known a king of England in my lifetime. So this is just going to be really hard to get used to saying king. I thought it would be a nice way to pay tribute. She lived such a full life. And what's interesting too, it makes me a little more emotional. She was born in 1926. My dad was born in 1927, and we lost him a few years ago. So it's like this whole generation of beautiful people that we will be, we lose and we're losing. Everyone says I got a couple of decoupage projects to do, but I wanted to see you decoupage again so I would get it right. Oh, good. I'm so glad that you're excited to see this tonight. These pictures are so beautiful. There are so many beautiful pictures of her. So on this one, she's definitely going on here, and this is where Grace Upon Grace is going. And then I would like to get this on the other side because I absolutely love this photo of her. I love it, love it. I just printed it on my inkjet printer with regular printer paper. This is nothing special. There's no special paper here, but I want to get her, I don't know what you call it. What do you call this thing? Not a robe. What is this thing called? It's not a veil because it's like a robe material. I can't think of the word, this long trailing veil that she has on. I would like to get it because it's so regal and gorgeous. We can get all of her, but I think I need to lower her a little bit so that when we put the roof on, I don't want her hidden. I don't want her face hidden under the roof. So I think I need to lower her. And thankfully this photo, when it's printed 8 by 10, it has all this gorgeous stuff up here. So what I'm going to do just to keep myself straight is I'm going to make a little mark right here at the bottom of the project. I'm going to get my paper cutter to keep myself straight. I very rarely use a paper cutter when I'm decoupaging. I usually tear the papers because I really like that look. But with this, we need to be more precise. So I'm going to cut this at the bottom so that I can see. I have to really visualize for myself, where will her head be? This is perfect right here. And then to make sure, I could sand off the edges. Once I've got it decoupaged on, I could sand off all the edges. But I think instead, I'm going to just cut it down on the sides. The reason why, so I'm giving this crease mark to tell me where to cut it on my paper cutter. The reason why I'm not going to glue it and then sand it on the sides is because the base of this is a very dark gray paint, and I want it to remain dark gray. And if I come in with a paper, like a sanding block, and I sand off these edges are going to turn white. Likely, it'll sand off the paint too, and it will make, I'll lose the gray paint, and I don't want to lose the gray paint. So when you do this iron-on method, it's very precise and clean. So I don't have to, it's going to go on here really well. I don't have to worry about anything in terms of decoupaging the paper on. I'm making sure that this crease is in the right place. And then I'm just going to cut using my paper cutter to make sure that I get exactly that spot. And then on the top, I don't mind sanding. The reason why is because on the top, I don't mind sanding this top part because I'm going to eventually put this on top. So if any of this turns white, it will get covered by these. So I'm not worried about that. Okay, so that's it. Once you've got your Mod Podge all dry and ready to go, you've got whatever paper, whatever napkin, whatever, anything that you want to put a photo that you want to glue on top, you put it on top. It is best to put something in between. I usually use parchment paper. I think I only have wax paper in here. So you can use parchment paper. Oh, and I just dropped my wax paper. You can use parchment paper to put over your photo to protect it when you iron it. I didn't think to bring any, so I'm going to use, this is one of those heat-resistant Teflon mats that you can buy like at the craft store. So I'm going to use that. First, I'm going to pull it a little closer to me so I can, because I'm kind of short. I want to make sure I'm like lining this up really well. She's going to be gorgeous on here. I'm a little bit short here with the paper, but that's okay. The dark gray background will be just fine. I'm going to hold it in place with my finger. I'm going to stick this over it, and then we're going to start ironing. And I don't want to keep the iron in any one place for any length of time. You want to keep moving it. I can feel where the point is. The Teflon pad or your parchment paper is going to get hot. So, I want to check where the point is, but this gets hot. You need to give it a quick second to dry before you, or cool before you put your finger on there. Don't burn yourself. Applying a little bit of pressure. What this does is the heating tool, whether you use your clothing iron or one of these little bad boys, it's going to reactivate, it melts the Mod Podge. It basically melts it. And then the Mod Podge grabs onto the paper and it glues it in place. Okay, so let's do a little check and see how we're doing here. Oh, I had a little bit of, look at Bad Gracie. I had a little bit of glue on my mat because I hadn't cleaned it from using it before. So I got a little glue on the bottom here, on the picture itself. So while it's warm, I'm going to try to peel it up without ripping it. Oh gosh, that makes me mad. That's all right. We're just going to have to live with it. Note to self, if you're using a craft mat, before you put it down, I didn't think I had anything on it. I should have checked. It's still actually warm enough that I don't want to put my finger on there for any length of time. So that's okay, because that means this glue on the top is coming off easily. All right. I won't mess with it too much. I'm going to end up putting another layer of Mod Podge over this as the top coat too. So see, look at, this is what we want to avoid, all that glue. This side is completely clean. So I should have gone on this side. I'm going to warm that up real quick and see if I can get it to come off. There we go. All right, so now let's just check and see if we have good adhesion everywhere. Yeah, look at, it's really on there. It's stuck on there. So you can do a couple of things here. You can cut with a knife, or you can use your sanding block. The only thing I would say about the sanding block is if you've got a dark base and you don't want to lose your dark base, you know, that's why I didn't want to sand on these edges, because I didn't want those edges to turn white. But up here I can do it because we have the roof to put on. See how it turns white a little bit? All right, I'm going to put it down. It's easier. Well, it's easier to get leverage if this is kind of leaning on something. And I only want to sand it enough to rip it off. There we go. Oh my gosh, she's perfect. What do you think? She fits on there perfectly. If you ever buy a shaped piece of wood with like an image on it, this is exactly what they do. They just glue it down onto the wood. It's not painted. It's an image that we glued down. These will end up, just to show you, the House of Windsor. It's going to end up like that. I love the black and white one too. A truly extraordinary and classic woman. I agree, Phyllis. I'm really late on comments, so I'm going to come all the way. Liz says beautiful. She is beautiful. This picture is stunning. House of Windsor, right, Kathy? Sanding block. Check my Amazon store, Miss Mary. It's beautiful, Lisa. I think so too. Yeah, it does stay hot a while, Tammy. You're right. Oh, excuse me. I got a little tickle in my throat. Okay, so this is what it will end up looking like. Okay, I think we're going to have enough time. I think I'm just going to go ahead and put the other picture on the other side. So let's get her and put her on this side. So here we go. And here, same thing. I'm going to have this little edge. I have a plan for up here. Her jewelry, her pearls, her earrings, her tiara, crown. It's not a tiara. What is the difference between a tiara and a crown? Princesses wear tiaras. It never really occurred to me until just this very moment that Princess Diana wore a tiara, but the Queen wears a crown. I know the distinction, but I never really thought about it. Interesting, right? Okay, so this is, just want to make sure I don't have anything extra down. I'm on the clean side, is touching the paper. I've got the dirty side up, but this is where the glue is that I should clean off my mat. I'm just going to go to the place where there's no glue in the middle. I know what I was doing with this mat too. It is easier just to use, if you have it, like a disposable parchment paper. Then you just throw it out and you know you didn't get anything on it and all that jazz. All right, let's just see. Yeah, she's sticking good. She's sticking good. I just got to get this corner right here. All right, put this down and check our contact to make sure that it's really solid. Right here needs a little bit more work. This side's good, but this side needs a little bit more time, like a little more time. I need the clean side over here. Is anybody else going to be crafting something to honor the Queen or the royal family? My initial reaction was I need to do an art. I immediately thought I need an art journal page. I need to do an art journal page. It'll help me process things. And I was going to do an art journal page, and I thought, no, let's use the house and make a House of Windsor, according to Queen Elizabeth. Okay, we're in good shape here. I'm going to sand this off. Just enough. Now I have a little plan for up here. See how we don't have full coverage right there? If I had made this picture, and I went back and forth on my printer and printed these like a couple of times in different sizes, and you know, if I made her bigger, then it wouldn't have fit so great on the house. All right, we're done with the iron. That's it. That is how fast and easy it is to iron on decoupage. Now we're going to do the stenciling part of it. And I'm actually not going to stencil with paint. I'm going to use embossing powder. Does anybody else like to emboss? Tell me that. I am going to turn on my hot glue gun because I was thinking, my sister sent me this recently and it looks rather regal, and I think I'm just going to put a touch of it up here. I think this is what I'm going to do. So Kathy, if you're watching, you're contributing to this little project. They taped the end probably to make sure that it didn't unravel. But won't that be pretty up there, just to fill in that space? I just have to, the challenge will be to cut it properly. Oh, that's the difference, Sharon. Sharon says a crown is a complete circle where the tiara is just the front, and that is true. Again, a distinction I would not have made on my own. So Sharon, thank you for that. All right, what I'm going to do here, I want this here. I'm going to take a temporary glue dot to the rescue, and I'm going to stick it on here. I'm going to temporary glue this down where I want it. Okay, I'm going to flip it over. This is the only way I can think to do this. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to mark, like, where do I need to cut it? How am I going to cut it? This is a little chalk pencil. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see these markings or not. No, it's like, oh, maybe on this side I can see it. Hopefully it's straight on the other side. We're going to try it this way and see what we get. And if we have to redo it, we'll redo it. Never worked with this either before. My edges, always Christina, my edges. Oh, see, Jennifer knew the difference between the tiara and a circle. But, right, like, the Queen doesn't wear a tiara, right? Just the princesses. Oh, that did fray all over the place. Oh, temporary glue dot is strong. I don't know. This might not work. We'll see. We'll see what we get here. That really shredded all over the place. Look at that. I've never worked with this stuff before. It's like a decorative rope that my sister picked up. But again, these frayed edges, they'll be kind of tucked under the house, so I'm not terribly worried about that. That'll work. Just to make it a little special up there. Sandy loves embossing powder. Sue is Mod Podging wooden coasters with pumpkins. Yay. Kathy loves to emboss. Kathleen has never used embossing. No, Bonnie, it sounds like you have. She says, have you ever toured Windsor or the Tower of London? It's incredible. I've never been there. I have not. Hi, Marcia. It's okay that you're late. If you guys like what you're seeing here, if you enjoy what we're doing here, especially to commemorate the Queen, please think about or consider hitting that share button so we can share this little project with others, and maybe it will inspire them to do something similar. Okay. Okay, I have my hot glue gun going. I have a little temporary glue dot there, but we're going to need something stronger than that. So I'm going to hit this with just a touch of hot glue on either side to really hold it in place. And I'm going to spin this, guys, so I can reach it better. I'm just putting like an equally big spot of hot glue there to push this down. And I think once the rooftop is on this, I don't think it will fray anymore. But I certainly, you guys know that fray, whatever it's called, that stuff, it stops things from fraying. You could use that. I could also just touch it with hot glue or silicone glue, but I'm not going to take the time to do that right now. But you would probably need to touch this with some silicone or something to make sure that it holds its spot there. Okay, this side is done. I will put Mod Podge all over it. When I glue down the house top, I'll make sure to do something to make those not fray, because I don't want to lose that little detail. Now on this side, let's do the embossing part. Okay, so for the embossing, I have a little bit of embossing powder. Comes in lots of brands. I don't even know what one this is. It looks like it's a Ranger. Yeah, it's a Ranger brand gold embossing powder. And I want to put Grace Upon Grace. She's holding this gold ball, whatever. I don't know any of the terms, so just speak about Grace Upon Grace. Just have some grace with me because I don't know what the terms are. She has this gold ball, this sphere that she's holding, and she has the staff, I think it's called. I don't know. She has gold tassels all over her cape or dress, or I don't know what you call it. Just forgive me, guys. Her crown is silver diamonds. It looks like silver and diamonds, or maybe platinum, and I think I see some red in there. But she has lots of gold, and she has a really wide gold, gorgeous gold bracelet. So we're going to put gold embossing powder right here, and it's going to say Grace Upon Grace. I think I'm going to put it right here. I think it'll show really well right here. And I'm not going to worry about this part of it, like this little squiggly is going to get lost. I really just want the words, Grace Upon Grace. I'm also not going to do the sprigs. Okay, we're just going to say Grace Upon Grace right here. It's nice. These stencils are so nice because they're really thick. They're easy to work with. They're easy to clean because they're nice and thick. However, they're still see-through enough that I can get placement, like wherever I want it. I can know that my placement is good because I can see right through it. I think I want it down here though. Okay, I'm trying to make sure that I'm straight. That's the key here. I don't want to put any tape, any strong tape on the paper yet because I've not Mod Podged this top, right? I have not Mod Podged the paper. There's Mod Podge underneath the paper, but there's none on top of the paper yet. So I don't want to put any tape on here because it could potentially tear the paper. So I'm just going to have to hold it. I'm going to use Versamark. I have a pad, a stamp pad of Versamark. I don't know that I'll be able to get enough of it onto this dauber, this little foam dauber, to apply it. So I grabbed the refill thing too. But I'm tempted to just go into the refill thing. I'm going to put some refill right onto the ink pad. And if you've ever done this, you know, it takes it a minute to seep into the pad. So I'm going to put a drop of it and then pick it up. And then I'm going to dab it on here. And this is my glue. Oh, I hope it works, you guys. This is my glue for the embossing powder. So I'm not dabbing paint. I'm doing glue. And then that's what we're going to put the embossing powder on. I have no idea how much of this to use. You guys, we're trying to do this together. Discovering whether it's going to work together. I'm hoping, sorry for that interruption. I'm hoping I have enough glue on this little dauber to make sure that I get the full image of the words. Okay, I'm going to do this one more time on the bottom. I'm going to add some new glue. And I'm going to touch the bottom part, the bottom word. And then like I do with the paint, I'm going to hinge this back and look. You can see, if you look, you can see in the light. I'm going to put my light down lower and closer to the project, and I can see whether or not I've got full coverage. It looks like my C right here needs a little help because it's shiny. It like looks really shiny on the paper. That's how I know. But the light, the reflection of the light is what I'm looking for. I have some bleed through on the G, on the top G, and that's a bummer, but it is what it is. Okay, now you put your embossing powder on that glue. My son just tried to call me. He's at a volleyball game, so I'm sure he's trying to call me to tell me what time he's coming home. So we'll catch up with him in a second here. Okay, I'm going to pick my lamp back up because I don't need it that low. That way you guys can see. And then it's helpful, you know, get a piece of paper or something. We won't put it on her face. But I do generally try to shake this to make sure that it really gets in that glue. And then shake it off. And can you see it there? Now the real fun begins because when I heat it, it's going to get all glossy and it's going to puff up a little bit. So let's get this put away back into our little container. And then it is helpful, okay, wherever the embossing powder is, when I use the heat gun to heat it up, it's going to melt. Embossing powder is just little beads of plastic, tiny little beads of colored plastic that you glue onto the surface and then you melt it. And when you melt it, it all it all comes together and melts together and it puffs up a little bit. That's what embossing powder does. So when you see, I can see little tiny beads of embossing powder around the word that I would not want to puff up. So you're going to take a quick, oh, and I missed a spot. I actually missed the R a little bit. Either there's not enough glue there or I didn't have enough embossing powder. So let's just, I'm going to tap it. Make sure it gets in there. If there's any residual embossing powder, that's going to melt and puff up. So what I'm saying is make sure you look at your project and make sure that you don't have any embossing powder where you don't want it. Okay, that is much better. I almost missed that G. A little spot of embossing powder right there. I'm just going to use this little brush to brush off what we don't want. Okay, now we're going to heat it up. I'm going to try to zoom you in because if you've never seen this happen, the process of it is kind of fun. It's like watching cookies, you know, puff up in the oven. It gets really exciting. Thank you. She's saying you did a great job. Somebody said thank you for that. Thanks, Deborah. It's so, so pretty. Do you have these supplies in your link tree? Which ones are you looking for, my dear? The Versamark is probably in my Amazon store. I don't know. I think I got this at a rummage sale or like a thrift store. But it's Ranger embossing powder in gold, but you could really almost get any brand. Thanks, Gia. Connie says, I'm going to want to try embossing. Wait till you see this, Connie. I'm going to zoom you in. And I want you to watch. I'll even try to hold it up. But if you watch this, it's going to turn from that matte color and it's going to become shiny and puffy. I'm going to move my hand because you're using a heat tool to heat it up enough so that it melts. And if you have your hand here, your thumb will get burnt. So I'm going to hold it over here and heat it over here so that my fingers don't get burnt, okay? And I'm gonna keep moving this until it starts puffing. I don't want to like puff it too fast in one spot. If you do this on paper and if you're ever having trouble getting the embossing powder to melt, you can come at the project from the back. That is not gonna work for this because it's a really thick piece of pine. I don't wanna burn my paper. So I'm going to move this around and let the heat melt that plastic enough. And when it starts puffing, I'll make sure that you guys get a good angle here. It hasn't started yet. I'll let you know. You can see it when it starts. My fingers underneath are getting hot. Come on. Here we go. We're getting some action. There it goes. Watch the G. See, it's starting to get shiny. Instead of being matte and dark, it gets shiny and bright, and it'll have a metallic glare to it. So I'm trying to be able to be close enough to it so that I can emboss it, but also so that you can see it. And that's a real challenge. Now it's all shiny. Almost the O in the word upon is the only thing I'm waiting for. There we go. It's all done. Nope, the E, the end of the E. Once it starts, it's really fast. And this one doesn't puff more as much as it does get shiny. Can you see now it's like really metallic? And honestly, it's really fun to do. But if you had metallic gold paint that would be opaque enough, dark enough to put on an overlay on one of her photos, this Grace Upon Grace, or really these phrases in this set, almost any of them would work right now for this. Be Still and Know. I was thinking about using that one, or Be the Light. I think any of them would be appropriate. This one would show up much better because the words are a lot bigger, but I don't know why. I just felt like I wanted the Grace Upon Grace on this one. Do you love it? I'm so glad you love it. Yes, you do have to be very careful. Someone said you can make the paper turn brown. Yeah, I sell these in my shop at TheComfyNestWithGrace.com. I just got my own and I really love it because it's so quiet and small. The other one that I used to have was enormous, took up a ton of space on my desk. I love that one. Okay, so this by itself would be fantastic. Okay, she's fantastic on this side, right? But then we will eventually, we're going to get this glued on top. And then I will Mod Podge the whole thing. I'm going to Mod Podge the whole thing so it stays nice and, the paint all stays good, everything stays good and secure in place. I won't have you watch me Mod Podge because that would be boring. But I'll place a nice coat of Mod Podge carefully all over it. And it will take time because, this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides that have to get Mod Podge. So does this. They have multiple angles that you have to hit it from and let dry and then go to the next part. Essential Stencil has put in the pinned comment right now the Wood House link, the Grace Upon Grace stencil link, and my code, The Comfy Nest. So if you go and buy any of these supplies to do this project, please use my code, The Comfy Nest, because it benefits you. You'll get a discount, but it also benefits me as an ambassador. It's how I get paid. So I appreciate you using it. Jeannie says, I haven't tried embossing before. It's very fun to try. Now, I am not. I was planning on, I was going to do all of the, the construction of this, but I won't have you sit through. And I do have to figure this out. Like, see this? I don't mind if that gets glued down, but I may trim that down a little before I glue everything together. She's fabulous. There we go. We're all done. You love the little things that you learn. Aw, Deb, I'm so glad. No, the Mod Podge will not hurt the embossing. Not that I know of. I've got a little corner here, guys, that is stuck up. I'm going to have to get my Dodo-Dum going again and get that stuck down. You think it does? Tammy says she thinks the roof detracts. So vote. Keep the roof on. You don't have to. She makes a really good point. Actually, it would be really cool. I was thinking, I think what I'm going to do is I was going to put this on the roof, several of these, like going up, the little sprigs, but I want to clean this because now it has the glue on it. So I've got to clean it before I use it to paint. Melissa says, the Grace Upon Grace is so pretty stenciled on the wooden house. The words are so meaningful. I think so too. I just think it's such a perfect project for tonight. It couldn't be any more perfect. And how many of you think that Tammy is right that we should leave the roof off? I'm curious now because I think she has a really good point there. I was afraid that the queen was going to get lost underneath, right? Like that was why I didn't want to put her too close to the rooftop, because if I put the roof on top, she's just going to she'll get lost under there. I just have to trim this bad boy down. It got a little unruly on me. There's my dodo. I'm ready for me to fix because I have one little corner coming up. There, that's much better looking. You like the roof, Crispy? What Mod Podge would you use to put on the end to cover all of it? Evelyn, it's totally up to you. You could use glossy or matte. Either one of them would work. Glossy or matte. I think I'm going to use glossy on the top because she's special. She needs to be. Oh, Missy says no roof. Lori likes the roof. Gia would leave it off. Bonnie likes it. You guys, I'm going to have to think about that. You've really given me something to think about here with the roof. You have some good questions too. I appreciate all the questions. Let's see. Yes, Diana, I will post a photo when it's done. Essential Stencil will post a photo here on the page. I can also do it in the Stencil of the Month Club. Someone said it's cute either way. Pat's not sure she likes the roof. Pat, I am unsure like you. I'm unsure. Now that you guys are saying it. Oh, wrong way. Now that you're saying it. Maybe the roof needs to be gold. Kathy says use the roof. Sharon agrees with Tammy. Christy likes it with the roof, and so does Pat. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Hi from Southern Indiana, Miss Pat. So you were debating on roof or no roof for the queen. Should she have a roof or no roof? I'm glad I didn't put it on tonight. I'll have to think and decide. Becky says lovely either way. Why, thank you, Becky. Embossing is so nice for Christmas projects. Yes. No roof, just the gold accents on the side. Joanne, I appreciate that. All right, let's see who our winners are. I see some names. Hold on, let me grab them in the comments here. The names of the winners have been pinned to the comments, but now I can't open them for some reason. Oh, no, I don't want to. There we go. All right, the winners of tonight's sets of stencils. 3 winners tonight. Gia Warner. Congratulations, Gia. Oh my gosh, 3 crafty chicks. Gia Warner, Wendy MacArthur Taylor, and Marcia Yowell. The 3 of you just won a set of stencils here tonight as we're creating and crafting. There will also be a replay winner within the next 24 hours. So if you're catching this and you don't see the live button, if you're catching it, please let us know that you're catching the replay in the comments. They will choose another winner later, but Gia, Wendy, and Marcia, congratulations. Look at the pinned comment to get the email address. You will send to that email address your mailing address and email address so that they can send you some stencils. Guys, thanks for watching. I'd be honored if you'd come on over to the Comfy Nest with Grace page and follow and like my page so that we can hang out some more, so I can teach you some new and more techniques. Have a beautiful, blessed night. Go make something pretty that brings your heart joy.